So I'm Dan.
I'm Alyssa.
And we go to Crossroads. You know, we grew up Catholic, so we had that background, and then we stopped going as teenagers and, kind of rebelled and turned away from God.
We had heard about Crossroads from friends.
One day we randomly decided to come, and it just happened to be the I Am journey.
I was going into a new job. I just had so many questions of, God, what do you want for me? What is my purpose? And the I Am journey was all about purpose. So I don't think there was any coincidence there. God wanted us to be there. I had a lot of questions answered by God during that journey.
From there, God really put it on our hearts to start serving the church. We both started serving in kids club and started tithing regularly. When the next journey came in,
we weren't in a small group at the time. We had a 2 and a 4-year-old, and we thought there's just no way we're gonna make this happen with our schedule and our girls. I had actually met someone at my work, and they had signed up to lead a group, and she reached out and said, would you and your husband like to do this with us? It's young couples. And at that point, we were kind of like, okay, this is something God is wanting us to do. We were both still uncomfortable with the thought of meeting with strangers.
They are like our best friends now.
Yeah.
We still meet every Thursday for small group.
It's bringing us so much closer, giving us this different relationship with Jesus that we didn't have. As I used to say, Crossroads is this huge mega church. It doesn't feel like a huge church to me anymore. It's not the structure that we're meeting in. It's the people that we're doing this with. That's what the church is.
Shortly, after that journey, we also decided to give our lives to Jesus, and we both got baptized. And from there, we saw an immeasurable spiritual growth. We also committed to the I'm In campaign. God really put on our hearts, to do that, and it was tough surrendering our finances, but that was one of the biggest takeaways that we got from the Obsessed journey. There are a lot of open doors here that God has placed, and it just takes, the courage to just walk through it, and we've walked through a lot of them. So thank you to those of you who give, and we are eternally grateful for the amount of spiritual growth and communal growth that we've gotten from all the stuff that's available here at Crossroads. So from the bottom of Alyssa and my heart, we thank you.
Thank you.
Isn't that good? It's so, so good. You'll never have to wonder if your life matters when you're a part of this place. I love that God uses us in our imperfections to help others know how much He loves us. And now He's changing their lives, and they're helping others know the same. Just so, so, so good to be a part of this and see a small little example. So that story is happening all over the place. That's just one little example of how God is moving through this movement. It's so good. Well, hey, if we haven't met before, my name is Matt Castleman. I'm the community pastor here at Crossroads West Side. It is great to be here with you. Today we're talking about purpose, how to have a life filled with purpose and a life filled with play. Who likes to have fun? Anybody? Yes. That's what makes the West Side the best side. I think we know how to play better than anyone else, and I'm excited to dive into that today. And I get to teach live about something that I'm really passionate about for our community. My hope for today is that we get intentional. We link arms, and we lean in to grow spiritually. That's my hope, and I want to be very, very clear with you. I do have an agenda. I know we all have our agenda. I have an agenda standing up here today, and my agenda is to get you to do the journey. My agenda is to get you to do a journey group, to get engaged. Because, why? Why, you might ask? Because I think it's the best shot you have at growing spiritually. I think it's the best chance you have of getting a thriving life, a life that works. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. When we are intentional with our growth, good things grow. You know what grows unintentionally? Our waistline, right? Just mindlessly consuming whatever crunchy food you put right in front of us. What else grows unintentionally? Our debt. Maybe the number of exes that stalk us on Instagram and Facebook. Let's see, weeds, right? You ever pull this where you're coming back from vacation and you've already thought about, we have somebody that is picking up our mail and letting our dogs out, and the grass. oh, we forgot about the grass. And then you come home and your house looks like a scene out of Jumanji. And there's like monkeys swinging from the rafters and a dude with a dart gun chasing you through. Yeah. Unintentionality leads to bad things growing. Good intentionality helps us grow in a healthy way, helps us grow spiritually. A life that works, a life that thrives, has intentional play and intentional purpose. I love fun. I love to have fun. Even as I was writing this message, I had this moment while I was sitting in my office. I was just sort of looking around and realized, man, I think I have more toys in my office than a toy store does. And here's a couple pictures that I took just from sitting in my computer chair. So here's my bookshelf. There's more toys on this than actual books. So I think we have a drone in the top left. We got our, what do you call this? A puzzle box. These are like my new favorite thing. It's sort of like an escape room, but inside of a box. They're great. A dodgeball in the lower left corner and a mug from The Office, favorite TV show. I looked around the corner, and then on my windowsill, I had this. This is, I've brought it on stage before, total just waste of money, but brings me great joy. You press the button that says don't touch, and a little cat arm comes out and turns it off. That's all it does. That's all it does. And then finally, while I was, this is my desk here. You can actually see my talk in the back. I think I'm probably 3/4 the way of that first page right now. I have the Bible out. But in the foreground, I have these like magnetic toy that I bought off of Amazon. It's like the most fun thing to play with. I love fun. I love surrounding myself with fun. Life is too hard sometimes not to have things that bring you joy. We've actually, the Castleman family has had great joy this summer. Last weekend, a week ago today, we went to Kings Island. Any Kings Island fans? Yes, yes. Any Gold Pass members? Ah, the elite class, yes. So we were actually a couple weeks before that looking at this deal online that said, hey, act now. In the next 10 minutes, you get a Gold Pass and you get admission to the park this year and next year. And now, of course, this year, there's only, a few weeks left or whatever, but 10 minutes away. I'm doing the math in my head as quickly as I could, and I'm thinking if we go once this year and once next year, based on park admission price, the Gold Pass kind of pays for itself. So, okay, bye. Okay, got it. And then you know how it goes. 3 days later, the same deal is available online. Like, they got me. But so we got the Gold Pass, and we went to Kings Island last Sunday, and we had a blast. It was a ton of fun. Well, let me clarify. Our kids had a blast. We were hot and sweaty and moist most of the day, just sort of sopping. Moist, yes, you're welcome for that trigger word right there. So we were in Planet Snoopy all day, hanging out with our kids at Kings Island. And what's the best part of Planet Snoopy? Blue ice cream. Come on. Blue ice cream. And so we were having fun. Our kids were getting on the rides. We're waiting in line for a half hour just so they can have a 5-second ride that goes up and down. Whatever. They loved it. We got to have fun watching them. But then the best part of the day was when my parents said, hey, Matt and Katie, why don't we just watch your kids for like 30 minutes and you and Katie can go off and go ride a roller coaster. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, that is a great idea, Mom and Dad. I'm so glad you thought of it. So they took our kids, and Katie and I just got an extra pep in our step, and we're walking. We're going to, I think we hit Diamondback first, and we're walking up to it, and we realize, oh, the line itself is like an hour long. 30 minutes is going to get us halfway in line, and we're going to go, oh, that was fun. All right, let's head back to our kids. So we remembered that with our Gold Passes, you get a one-time Fast Pass. Now, this is game changer right here. Anybody ever used the Fast Pass before? Right? A couple of you. It's $100. But with the Gold Pass, this deal, it gave you a free Fast Pass. And what it is, it's this magical, mythical bracelet that they put around you. And we got ours. We were like, we're spending it today. So we got ours. We put it around our wrist. And it allows you to walk past all of the commoners in line waving at them, hello peasants, hello, yes. And you walk right up to the ride. Like, there's no short line. You're walking onto the ride, into your seat, buckled. Like, that's it. Now, yes, there were nasty looks from people that were in line watching us like, what are you doing? We just kind of flash the wristband and say, I've been at Planet Snoopy all day. And they're like, I got you, you're good. As you were. So we got to do those rides. And Katie and I were talking on the way out. And our kids just had a blast. They were spent by the time they got in the car. They passed out before we even pulled out of the parking lot. But I remember thinking, I can't remember the last time we had this much fun. I can't remember. I remember as a kid going to Kings Island, and you're just spent by the end of the day. You go to Soak City, you get wet, you change your clothes, you get in the car, parents crank the AC up, and you're just, right? Like the best sleep you've ever had. And I'm like, I watch my girls doing this in the back of our minivan. I'm like, I remember that. And I don't remember the last time I had that much fun. Because if I'm honest, I'm walking around Kings Island, I'm hot, I'm waiting in line, and while I'm waiting there, I'm thinking about, oh, that's right, it is garbage night, so we're going to have to make sure we roll that out to the curb, and oh, we forgot to water our flowers. Maybe our neighbors can do that for us. Like all this thing, thinking about my message that I'm giving this weekend while I'm walking around, and I just couldn't remember the last time I had that much fun, other than when I was a kid at Kings Island. We also had a blast this year. We went to Destin over the summertime in July, and we stay at a place that a friend of the church gives to us for practically nothing. It's my favorite price, free fitty. So I pay free fitty, and we go to this amazing condo, and our baby is eating more sand than she is food the entire week. So those diaper changes were interesting. But we go to this place called Baytown Wharf, and they have this fireworks show. And so Katie and I, like, we're not working, we're off, right? Like no one knows us there. We're off. So we're in this restaurant. I'm like, all right, they had this big drink. I'm gonna get it, and I'll pace myself throughout the night. But this is fun. Let's let loose a little bit. So I order it, and it comes in one of those giant yard glasses that are like neon yellow. Like I'm a frat guy now. Okay, that's fine. So I'm walking around with my children and my wife, and we're walking. Thousands of people gathered for the fireworks, and I hear, Matt Castleman? Hey, what's up? It was some friends from the church, Ben and Amanda, that were at this Baytown Wharf fireworks. Of course, West Siders find other West Siders thousands of miles away. Just like, cheers, it's been a long week. So we had fun in Destin, and one of the things, we'd get back to our hotel or our condo area, and the kids would go play, and I'm ashamed to say this, but I got to kind of let you peek behind the curtain of me. I might lose my pastor card for sharing this with you, but the kids are distracted. Katie's getting lunch ready. I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom. And so any other people go and just kind of sit on the toilet and escape life for a little while? And you're in there yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I'm going in, and I'm shutting the door, and I'm sitting on the toilet, and I pull my phone out, and I'm ashamed to say, but I started looking at emails. What'd you think I was going to say? But I had that feeling. Like I'm hiding this from my family right now. Like this feels sinful. This feels like something I shouldn't be doing. And it's true. We're on vacation. No one was expecting emails from me. No one was expecting me to look at my emails. I had my vacation reminder up, but something inside of me was just, clear out the inbox. You got to work. You got to be a little bit productive. Clear out the inbox. And every time I swiped right and archived, it was almost like a hit, like give me more. So I'm in the bathroom, and here I am, I'm squeezing out a few emails, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm hiding this from my wife. We're on vacation, and I'm still working. This is broken. Something about this isn't working right. I don't know if you can relate with that, but times when you're supposed to just have unadulterated fun, work and purpose and meaning and weight kind of comes into it. And I was thinking, who needs this journey the most? This guy. I need this journey because I'm having trouble rekindling that sense of fun. I'm having trouble rekindling a sense of play in a life that's filled with purpose. My guess is I'm not alone. My guess is many of us need this journey. Many of our lives aren't working. You look at stats across the country, and they tell us that lives aren't working well. Depression rates are through the roof. Divorce has skyrocketed. Suicide rates are higher than ever before. Our lives aren't working the way that they're supposed to. I came across these stats that were kind of shocking from USA Today. Between 2005 and 2017, the rate of adolescents reporting symptoms consistent with major depression in the last 12 months jumped 52%. Adolescents reporting major depression up 52%. And this one from the National Institute of Mental Health, an estimated 6.7% of all U.S. adults experienced at least one episode of major depression in 2016. Friends, that's almost 17 million of us. 17 million of us experience some episode of major depression. Now, yes, I know chemicals, brain chemistry, genetic code, that these things are leading contributors, but you look at the incremental growth that has happened here in a short span of time, there's something else at play, and I think it's the fact that we don't know how to play. We are lonelier than ever before, and we have thousands of friends, right, on Facebook, and we get in arguments with them half the time anyway. We're lonelier than ever before. We don't know how to play like we used to, and this is contributing to some major mental health issues. The best version of ourselves is a life filled with high play and a life filled with high purpose. Who doesn't want the best version of themselves, right? We want the best version of everything else, don't we? The new iPhone comes out, it's shiny, it's beautiful, and it seems like the next day they're already promoting the next one. That's just going to have like a letter slapped next to it. Like, oh yes, the 11B. Haha, yes. B stands for better. We want the best next thing, yet with ourselves, we're kind of okay with the current version, right? It ain't broke, don't fix it. But we want more things. My friend, true story, my friend, his company is willing to pay for his cell phone, and yet he declines their coverage because he can spend his own money and upgrade whenever the new one comes out. I looked at him when he told me that. I said, you will spend thousands of dollars of your own money, he's like, when your company will pay for it for you, just because you want the new one as soon as it comes out. Yes, precisely. I'm like, okay, hey, you know what? No judgment. And yet with ourselves, we're kind of okay with the old version, right? Like the new iPhones are coming out and we're over here with our little Nokia flip phone, like, I'll just be in the corner playing Snake. I'm fine. Don't bother me. Who remembers that, right? Like, who still has one of these? Anybody? Whoa! Don't tell her there's iPhones. Don't tell her. Great. Stick with Snake. It's the best thing ever. The best part, and you probably know, the best part about these is this sound. Ooh, it's good, isn't it? Like there was no exclamation point better at the end of a solid argument than with this phone slamming shut. You'd be like, no, you don't care what I'm doing, Mom. Yeah. It's the best sound in the world. Yes, yeah. Raise your hand if you're okay with the worst version of yourself. No one? Okay, good. Raise your hand if you're okay with just the average version of yourself. No one? Good. Raise your hand if you want the best version of yourself. Yes. If you just raise your hand, you know what that means? You know what that tells me? That you need this journey. You need this, not because it's a thing our little church is doing, but because you are guaranteed to grow. We are guaranteed to grow when we are intentional. And we take our cues from Jesus, right? We're not just trying to play church. We're trying to follow the life that God lived on this earth. And we see that through Jesus. Jesus lived high play and high purpose. There's a story that summarizes this beautifully from Mark chapter 10, 13 to 15. This is Jesus explaining how to inherit the kingdom of God to his disciples. He says, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. I tell you the truth. Anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will never enter it." Jesus is pulling the kids together like, hey guys, hey, disciples, look, see these guys? They got it figured out, right? Come to me as little children because kids worry about their finances. No, it doesn't say that. Come to me as little children because kids are super uptight about their schedule. No, it doesn't say that. Come to me as little children because they're lighthearted. They know how to play. They know how to just be expectant from their Father with nothing more. Come to me as little children. Jesus is showing us how to enter the kingdom of God, and it's with a light heart. And then it continues on 20 verses later, not chapters, not pages, not books of the Bible, 20 verses. Jesus says this in Mark 10:33. "We are going up to Jerusalem," he said, "and the Son of Man will be betrayed to the chief priests and teachers of the law. They will condemn him to death and will hand him over to the Gentiles, who will mock him and spit on him, flog him and kill him. 3 days later, he will rise." He's like, so that's what I'm doing. What are you guys up to? We see this incredible purpose, this incredible mission. Jesus, in one breath, is saying, you got to be having fun, guys. You got to have lightness in your life. Come as children who are expectant. And I will lay down everything because I believe in this enough and because I love you enough. We see purpose. We see play. We see mission. We see lighthearted, joy, recharging, hope. We see both of these. Now, I don't know if you've ever thought of this, but did you know Jesus liked to have fun? Growing up, I never thought about that. I always, I'm thinking about all the times Jesus is very specific on how to live our lives and he's like throwing tables over and like whipping, the money changers and like driving them out. And Jesus is like incredibly, purposeful, and he's even on the cross and he's laying down his life. And I missed the fact that he's fully human and fully God, which means if he's fully human, he likes to have fun, right? Because you and I like to have fun. Jesus was around dudes. He was around these 12 guys, rough around the edge fishermen. There were at least a couple fart jokes, right? I mean, this is speculation. I'm going off record here. I'm guessing they made fun of each other every once in a while. Maybe it was Peter's bad hygiene or Luke snores in his sleep or something, but there was some witty banter. Heck, Jesus' first miracle was keeping the party going because he turned water into wine. Jesus knew how to live a life filled with fun and purpose. I see all these examples of Jesus saying, let the little children come to me. Let them come to me. And I just laugh because I try to picture this scene if I were to do it with my own kids. I don't know how your family is, but anytime I try to get multiple children together, it's like herding cats. You're like grabbing onto whatever body part you can get and like, no, get out of the window, and you're pulling them together. The scene that I just read with Jesus, let the little children come to me. I like to picture it going something like this. He says, okay, let the little children come to me. In order to enter the kingdom of God. Hey, Luke, nope, eyes on me, buddy. Fingers out of your nose, okay? There we go. Thank you very much. All right. Now, in order to enter the kingdom of God. Noah, stop messing with the animals, okay, little guy? Thank you. Yep, leave their tails alone. Okay, as I was saying, in order to enter the kingdom of God. Cain, stop hitting your brother. That's a dad joke and a church joke all in one. You're welcome for that. It's the little things, and I like to have fun. No, I like to picture these moments that, we don't always pause on in Scripture to see the nuance of it. How would that have gone? I know that Jesus lived a life filled with play and filled with purpose. I want the same thing for you. The journey's coming up, and I want to give you 3 ways. 3 ways to get the most out of this journey. And the first one is find your people. In order to get the most out of this journey, you gotta find your people. Science is very clear on this, that the way that we surround ourselves with people actually impacts our overall mental and physical health. Very interesting article that I came across from Dr. Emiliana Simon Thomas, and it says this: physiologically, not having a social support system is actually a source of chronic stress for our bodies. In other words, not having friends. Studies show that when people feel lonelier, they have higher levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Conversely, relationships can encourage behaviors that are good for us too, like eating right and exercising. So, it makes sense that studies show having fewer social ties are associated with more heart disease, cancer, and impaired immune function. In other words, having friends keeps you healthy. Not having friends leads to stress and anxiety and more issues. Science is clear. Finding your people impacts your health. And the Bible's clear about this too. Paul says this in Hebrews 10, 24 to 25. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. I love that. We spur one another on. Now, I don't think he's talking about like cowboy boots, like, yeah, come on, get going. I think this word means something a bit different. When you look at the Greek of spur, it actually means to stir up. It means to provoke. I love this picture. I picture just like soup in my mind and adding seasonings and spices and stirring it to bring flavor out. This is what community does for us, right? We get around people who are a little different, who complement us. We encourage each other. We sharpen each other. Without that, we're just like broth. We're just sort of like a bland concoction, right? We spur one another on. We get in community. And this whole groups idea isn't new. This thing that we're talking about, get in a group, you got to find your people. It's not just the new thing our church is doing. Friends, this is the lifeblood of the Christian movement for 2,000 years. We see the disciples and early Christ followers meeting in homes, gathering daily, worshiping alongside one another. Groups are vital for our growth, and you need to find your people. The second way to get the most out of the journey is to come to the weekend. Come to the weekend. We've got to get equipped. We got to get our marching orders. Jesus got his marching orders from spending time with his Father, from retreating and then coming to be around people. Where do you get your marching orders from? Where do you find sort of that rallying motivation? Here. It's here. It's this community. It's us linking together and going through this together. There's power in numbers. There should be tens of thousands of people going through this journey together, and there's momentum. Come to the weekend. Get equipped. I want to say something very controversial, so if you'll bear with me, I have the microphone, so I'm going to say it. A gym membership will do nothing for your physical health. Let me say this again. Buying a gym membership will do absolutely nothing for your physical health. Going to the gym and lifting weights and getting your blood pumping and sweating a little bit will build muscle. This is your gym. This is your gym. Don't just get the membership. Don't just say, oh yeah, go there. I have a membership. Come, build those muscles. Work alongside one another. Get some support, right, as you're lifting. Strength in numbers. And I would say this, come to the weekend in person. There's a difference. There's a difference between streaming and in person. God bless. Thank you for streaming so that when we can't make it, it's there. But it's just a different feeling, isn't it? When we're able to see one another. When we're able to worship alongside one another. We're not just sitting in our living room. And I know we all do it. We just fast forward past that part anyway. We just, all right, come on, meat and potatoes. We flex new muscles when we come to the weekend. Want you here. Final way to get the most out of the journey is to do the work. To do the work. You're worth it. You are absolutely worth the investment it's going to take to grow. You know, companies give us mental health days. I'm very thankful that we're able to receive that privilege to rest. Why don't we take spiritual health days? Why don't we take a spiritual health month and just go through this journey together? We are guaranteed to grow, friends, when we are intentional. It's not going to happen by itself. Let's carve out some time. Let's do the work now. I love this quote. It's from the book, The War of Art. And it's the author, Stephen Pressfield, says this: at some point, the pain of not doing it becomes greater than the pain of doing it. I love that. The pain of not doing it becomes greater than the pain of doing it. Let's not wait until it's painful. Let's not wait until it's too late. Let's not wait until things aren't going right. Let's not settle for the mundane life, the life that's just okay. Guys, let's make the most of this. We only get one shot at it. Life's too short. Let's do this together. Not just to do a little church thing, to grow. We're teammates. Could you imagine your teammate not showing up on game day? Could you imagine it? Let's hold each other accountable. Let's grow together. And I know it, guys. I know there are reasons. There are excuses of why we can't do this journey. I'll give you three real quick. The first one is, hey, I've done the journey before, and I've been in a group, and it didn't work out. I didn't like the group. I didn't like the journey. I'm like, okay. I've eaten a bad slice of pizza before, but that doesn't mean I've stopped eating pizza. If you've been in a bad group, if you've had a bad journey, please try it again. Please try a new one. Don't let that be the reason that you don't engage. There's thousands of people that are stepping forward to be in a group. Try a new group. Try a new journey. This one's brand new. The second excuse that I hear is, gosh, it is busy. It is busy. Our kids are going back to school. I just don't have time. Okay? School season's upon us, then it'll be the holidays, and then it'll be Easter, and then it'll be summer, and we have vacation. It's always busy, isn't it? What if while your kids are being busy, you stayed busy growing yourself? I know, I hope I'm not the only one, that when my kids are going back into school and their schedule's crazy, I need more God in my life. I need a little bit more patience, a little bit more growth so that I can have capacity to take care of the needs of my family. And the final one, it's vacation, right? Yeah, I can't do the journey. We got vacation on week 3. We're going to miss a whole week. Like, oh, okay. Are you journeying around the world for 4 weeks and you won't be here for any of it? I'm just trying to catch your drift here. It's like you're saying you can't step away for a week and engage in the content, watch it on your app, or engage in the guide and make a priority. If you miss a little bit, catch up. Use the drive time home. Maybe it's the flight on your way home. Don't let that be the reason why you stop. I don't want you to have a mundane life. I want you to have a spectacular life. What if in 5 weeks your life is transformed? What if you were just 5 weeks away from a new trajectory in your marriage? What if you're just 5 weeks away from reconnecting with your kids? What if transformation and possibility and hope and fresh life, or at least setting the trajectory in that direction, is only 5 weeks away? Friends, don't miss it. I want us to lean in. I want us to get intentional and grow some muscles because you're worth it. And your Father in heaven thinks the same. Now, I was thinking about this. I was thinking, I don't want to get up here and just talk and give you examples of it. I want to show you somebody who's doing this well. So we have a real-life human being who has high purpose, high play in their life. And I reached out to him maybe a month or so ago, and they said, yeah, I'd be happy to share. Chances are you know who I'm talking about. You might see him on your TV screen every morning, or maybe at the children's theater doing some shows, or maybe, just maybe, you've taken some makeup advice from him.
Look, Jen, I'm actually doing a makeup instructional video today. Isn't that a great idea? I'm actually doing a video of my makeup process, Sheila. And then I do a weird little circle here, and I do one there too, because I don't know why. Maybe down here, because that thing still hasn't healed from when I had an ingrown hair. Oversharing?
What are you talking about?
I'm just trying to let people in on the process, Jen. And this is foundation, I think. And this is to help make sure that I have a good, solid foundation for both my skin tone and my morality. See how I'm blending a little bit there? You know what? I kind of feel like Bob Ross. Happy trees on my face, Jen. Happy trees. Shelby, I'm making one of them makeup videos like the people do. You know how they do?
You blend so aggressively.
I do. I blend like I'm angry at my skin.
That's violent.
I do. I'm a violent blender. That's not for everybody. That might not be something that you want to try, but I feel that also helps maintain elasticity in my skin. This is a little bronzing stuff. See how I hit it? Boom, hit it. Hit the cheekbones hard. You're like, man, that is a lot of stuff on your cheekbones, pal. It is. Ooh, on the ear like that. Underneath. Yeah. Then I'm going to take this thing again. Violently blend, violently blend, violently blend like you're ashamed of your face. You hate it, and now you love it. Look at that, look at the cheekbones, my goodness, oh, look at that, like a boss. Less than a minute, taking just a little powder. I'll powder more later because, as everyone in this room can attest to, sweat like there's something glandularly wrong with me. 1 minute. I'm not really happy with where we are right now. That's the magic. See on TV, local 12, 425 to 7, 7 to 9 on 64, 9 to 10, back on 12. Bye.
West Side, let's give it up for Bob Herzog.
Girls hit you, hallelujah. 'Cause Bridgetown Punk don't give two. 'Cause Bridgetown
that's you.
Punk
You like
don't
that.
give
I
like
two.
that.
'Cause Bridgetown Punk don't give two.
Not much.
Saturday night in the spot.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Fine.
It didn't do that last night.
Does yours do that?
Oh. Mine
Oh.
was like
Little-
two
little
octaves
uptight.
down from you.
A
That
little
was
uptight
nice.
today.
Whew.
So, how do you sit in one of? How are you?
I always go ankle to knee.
You do ankle. Do you
Yeah.
never? You
Never.
do the,
No, that's uncomfortable.
the
for me.
wise
Yeah,
counselor.
This like this.
I
I'm so
crisscross
nervous.
applesauce.
I'm so nervous being up here.
This is
I'm
what.
so nervous.
Well, this is all it's going to be is us talking about how we're
How we
sitting
sit.
for about
Good.
seven
Good.
minutes. So this is fine. Right?
I'm just afraid. I mentioned this the other day. I feel like I'm the only person who has spoken from this stage who is a guy without a beard. Right?
You-
Everybody who comes up here and talks or sings who's a guy has a beard.
Well, it's a scriptural command. It's in the Bible.
All
You
right.
have to have.
I
So,
did-
well, you
well,
got some shadows.
I haven't shaved since 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday. So
That'll be fully grown by
I'm
tomorrow. I
I'm
think.
working on it. I'm
So,
working on it.
Bob, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
This was sort of what I would say God saying, get Bob on stage, because this is somebody whose life seems to have a great amount of play and purpose. Fortunately, you said yes. Thank you. I know you're busy. Bob and his family attend here, and so I thought it'd be good just to kind of hear a little bit of tips and tricks and establish why we actually know each other. So back in the day, if
Yes.
you didn't know this, I met Bob when we were in Beauty and the Beast together at Children's Theater. There we are. I
that's
was
great.
your LeFou, and you
Yes.
were.
Gaston. LeFou, I'm afraid I've been thinking.
My, what a guy. That Gaston.
Love it.
There it is.
Makes me
All
happy.
right. Well, that's our time for today. Thanks
Thanks
for
for
being
coming,
here. Yeah, it's
everybody.
great. So Bob, purpose and play. I know you're super busy, but yet you make time for these shows. Talk to us a little bit about what that looks like in your life, play and purpose.
The shows for me, it's just sort of my thing, which sounds silly to say, but I don't go out for wing night, and I don't do, guy night for Monday Night Football or anything like that. That's just, that's my thing. I love it. I love to do those shows. I do maybe one or two a year, usually just one, just for purposes of time. Kind of re-energizes me a little bit, but I will admit to you a little bit of it is that commingling between play and purpose, because I like to think that one of my purposes in life is maybe to make people smile. And so I get a little bit of that out of doing those things too.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a cheat. It's it's play, but maybe there's a little bit of purpose in it too.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful when those two things can intermingle, and not that they always do, but how do you? I mean, just to do a show, you don't just show up on show night and here we are. You have to rehearse. There's hours of practice. How do you make time for play in your busy life?
I think when you're doing something that you genuinely enjoy, it just happens. You just find the time for it. I can't quite explain how that works. There's certainly a lack of sleep that comes along with it, and I don't get a lot of sleep to begin with. But I think back to when I was in college or when I was younger. You never get tired when you're young. Nothing drives me crazier than when a teenager's like, I'm so tired. I'm like, you shut up, you. You're 18 years old. There's no such thing as tired. But when you're doing something that you enjoy doing, there's always the energy to do it. And I think that's part of it. So if you can find that thing that you genuinely enjoy doing, the time will be there, the energy will be there to do it.
That's really good. Was there ever a time in your life where you didn't have a good amount of play or purpose, or you had too much of one and didn't have any of the other?
I think when you're at that point in your life where you're trying to maybe figure out what your purpose is, that can make it tough. And in college, say before I sort of had things figured out, I was pre-med when I started college. My dad, God rest his soul, was a doctor, and I always got fairly good grades, and so I was going to be the doctor. That was just how I had it in my head, and I thought everybody else had it in their heads, and I didn't end up wanting to do that. I was sitting in organic chemistry class one day, and I went, I'm not supposed to be here.
I think we've all said that at one time. What?
So I think that would have been a time where purpose was tough for me, because I wasn't sure what path I was supposed to be on, that kind of thing. And then maybe with the play, it's something that you're going through right now because you have little kids.
Yeah.
When my kids were much younger, you have that, you just don't, there just doesn't feel like there's enough time to do anything,
Yep.
to do anything else. So,
Yep.
so those would be a couple of places maybe.
That's right. I
Yeah.
find myself, I didn't say this in the talk, but I found myself, girls, are saying, Daddy, can you play? And I say, hold on. That's been my knee jerk. It's hold on, either because I'm finishing up doing something on my phone, or I'm trying, and so like that's for me coming into this journey, wanting to figure out, how do I set things down? How do I just fully be present? So when my girls say, Daddy, will you play with me? I don't have to say, hold on. I can say, sure.
Yeah.
That feels like
Because
fresh.
because the day will come where you're going to think, I didn't take as many of those opportunities as I should have.
You're exactly
I mean,
right.
speaking from a guy whose kids are a little bit older now, I built a tree house for my daughter, who is 12. If she gets a year out of using that tree house, it'll be a miracle.
Yep.
But I'm holding on to her being young
Yep.
with both hands, because I've also got one who's getting married in October. So I know that time is going.
That's right.
It's going so fast.
That's
it's going
right.
so fast.
This is good. We only get to see you, really behind the camera. So we see you on the news, or we see you on our news feed. So I think it'd be good to kind of peek behind the curtain a little bit with maybe what God's doing in you, Bob Herzog. Not the TV personality, but just the man.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's still a lot that I've got to work on. For those who have seen me here before, if you have, it's like spotting like a Yeti, because we're usually the late service on Sundays. I get here after the band starts playing. Keith, because you see me in the parking lot. I get here after the band starts playing. I sneak in the back. I sit. Whoever's in the back corner, you'd be keeping my seat warm for later. I sneak in, and I'm back out the door by the time the lights are all the way up. And I think there are maybe some different reasons for that, but part of it is I don't have everything quite figured out yet. I tell people that if my wife and I are having a conversation and something's not going right, or I'm frustrated about something and I'm trying to tell her about it, I'm like, oh, well, why is this happening, or this other thing? And she'll say, well, have you prayed about it? No, I haven't prayed about it. And that's not a go-to for me yet. So I've got work to do. I'm not in a group. I've never been in a group. And I shy from that. As weird as it sounds, I'm a I'm a pretty shy person.
I think we were all thinking that.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But it really is true in social settings where I'm not up doing this.
Yeah.
I am shy. When I'm around a group of people that I don't know, it's not because I don't want to talk to you or know you. I'm weird like that.
So are you the only human being on earth that doesn't need community, or are you getting it elsewhere?
I think I get it elsewhere to a degree. I think a lot of people are in jobs where maybe they're not so fortunate to have a group of people around them who support them, who lift them up, that kind of thing. One of your points was find your people.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of work with my people, which is awesome, because I know not everybody is in that. But I tell everyone, if you can't have a good time hanging out with John Lomax for about 5.5, 6 hours every day, you're just doing life wrong, and there's no hope for you ever. But I have that in my life, and I have a lot of people around me at work who are like that, and then my family is like that. When I think about who my people are, I find refuge in my family. I know not everyone has that blessing. Some people are in situations where things are very stressful for whatever reason, and I find refuge there. Maybe to the extent that I don't reach out to groups in other ways, just because comfort zone here, comfort zone there. For me to get in a group or do something here would be would be stepping out, almost as much as stepping up here.
Really?
Like I don't get nervous on stages. I don't get nervous when people hook microphones to my head, and I don't get nervous anymore when I look into a red light and I go live on TV. But being up here in the middle of a church service makes me nervous. Like I'm not worthy of anybody listening to what I have to say on this topic, because I'm just not there. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Well, when you put it that way, maybe you should get down. Maybe we should be.
See you guys at the donut wall.
Can I just say, hey, you are absolutely worthy, because you, like all of us, are figuring this stuff out. And if this place were for perfect, unbroken people, then we would have no one here. Or just a bunch of liars, I suppose. So the benefit of you here is hearing it's a journey. You're walking it out, knowing you have kids that are watching your step. Maybe talk about how your spiritual growth plays in with your kids' formation.
Well, I think sometimes on a Sunday when I don't get myself here, and there are plenty of Sundays where I don't. I love that there's now a Crossroads app on my Amazon Fire Stick. That is gold. Yeah. But I think to myself, if I don't drag myself here, that means my kids aren't coming. Yeah. With the exception of maybe Danny, because he comes and he helps out in the early service.
That's right. He volunteers in Kids Club.
Yeah. So Danny probably gets here more than I do. But I do think about that. If I'm not here, that means, my two youngest a lot of times aren't here. And what kind of messages that's sending to them? Because you talk about making time for things that are important. Well, why is this the thing that if I'm going to stay in bed, this is the thing I stay in bed for? Why isn't this higher on my priority list?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, in the last bit of our time, Ronald, this is a very important topic. I think a question that we all have. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened at the station?
So I don't know if you know, but I've done a lot of really stupid stuff on TV.
We know, Bob. We know.
But given the time of year, and given that Starbucks has just started recently serving the pumpkin spice lattes again, I will share this story. I did the parody. You remember Bridgetown Funk? I did that one. Yep. But another one that I did was for a Miley Cyrus song called Wrecking Ball. Okay, so I did Pumpkin Y'all. As in, I just want some more pumpkin, y'all. And I took, those garbage bags that look like pumpkins when you fill them up? You know what I'm talking about? Well, I filled one of those up, and I tied a rope around it. I tied the rope into the actual light grid in the studio. Engineers love when you do that kind of thing and don't check with them first.
Yes, yeah.
And I literally was swinging back and forth on my giant pumpkin, singing this Miley Cyrus parody.
Don't picture it too much.
In a news studio, which is real common. But I got done, and I thought I should probably go tell my news director I did that, because also, you might guess, I don't often ask permission for some of these things before I do them. And so I went into Kirk's office. I'm like, hey, just so you know, you might get some phone calls today. He said, why? I said, I did a Miley Cyrus parody. And he took his glasses off and he sat them down on his desk and he took the two fingers and he just kind of pinched right here. He goes, were you naked? Like, no! But just the fact that you thought that was a possibility is really meaningful to me. So thank you for that, sir. So.
Oh, man. Bob. Let's pray for Bob, shall we? No. That's good. All right. Last thing. What do you got? The stage is yours. What's coming up in Bob's life?
I can't let the beard grow too long. I've got to shave before tonight because I'll be anchoring the fireworks. So if you're not headed down to the river, be watching the fireworks on Local 12 tonight. And then you talked about Children's Theater. I will be doing their Christmas show this year. I will be Snoopy in their Charlie Brown Christmas. So that will be kind of fun, I think. Yeah.
You got a lot of lines?
No, toughest memorization gig I've ever had. Not a one. Just Bob, do that thing where you jump around and look like an idiot. Done. Got that.
That's great. Hey, can we thank Bob for being here with us?
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Good
Thanks.
stuff. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Well, hey, we got some donuts waiting out in the atrium. The famous donut wall is back. Don't forget to come back next week to get your guide for the journey, and hope to see you then. Have a great week.